One last minute reminder to make sure that your cell phones are silenced. And please join me in welcoming the University of Guelph to the stage.
Long summer days at the cottage with friends are what we dream of for 8 months of the year. The sound of laughter, the smell of burgers on the grill, and the taste of a cold beverage hitting our lips. These are the moments we hold on to, take pictures of, and tell stories about, so all these summer memories freeze in time. After months of separation, we are all eagerly looking for ways to reconnect, which is why we'd like to present to you the Board of Directors at Weingart Estates, Frosé. A light and refreshing single-serve rosé wine beverage, Frosé is both a beverage and an experience that aims at bringing consumers together, all while beating the heat of the summer months. Crafted from fresh Ontario grapes and complemented with the bursting flavors of various Ontario-grown produce, Frosé is sure to become a summertime classic.
This tasty frozen wine cocktail will be available in 3 unique flavors inspired by fresh Ontario strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. Frosé will be available in a single-serve 296 milliliter pouch with a 6.5% alcohol content. Frosé packaging will feature a conveniently resealable top and a punch-out hole for a straw. Additionally, Frosé will be available in a multi-pack of 3. Our team has established 3 key planning assumptions for the curation of Frosé. First, Weingart Estates will obtain adequate shelving space within the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, or the LCBO. Second, all ingredients will be locally and consistently sourced. And third, Weingart Estates is an established winery with all the proper infrastructure in place to successfully launch Frosé. Now, the Ontario market has seen many changes in the light of the COVID-19 pandemic and our ever-changing consumer preferences. Canadian consumers are consistently seeking out convenient, ready-to-drink alcoholic beverages. Beer remains the beverage of choice for most consumers, but is rapidly losing market share to wine, spirits, and coolers. Spirit coolers are the fastest growing beverage on the market and have seen an increase of sales of 166% since the year 2009. Now, the Canadian wine market has also seen tremendous growth in this time period, seeing an increase in market share of 29% between the years of 2004 and 2019. And the winery sales themselves have increased by 21% in the year 2020, outpacing all other beverage categories, with Ontario sales leading the way. Now on to Carmen for our SWOT analysis.
Thanks, Taylor. Weingart Estates has an opportunity like no other to stand out with Frosé. The strengths of Frosé lie in its convenient packaging, as well as its formulation that is unique from other competitors, such as canned wine or cooler pouches. Frozen, sweet, and classy. Additionally, the alcoholic wine and beverage industry offers a lot of opportunity for both the growth and success of Frosé, including significant growth trends previously mentioned. Drawing in new consumers to experience Frosé at Weingart Estates will strengthen the local economy, as well as provide additional visits to surrounding establishments. The hybrid between canned wine and coolers will also strengthen our main demographic by including a younger audience and bringing in new consumers. While I'm sure we've pitched Frosé as the perfect summertime beverage, it is also important to note that this is a highly seasonal product, with the majority of sales and expenses over the summer months. We are also introducing a novel concept into the market. Frozen wine with added fruit could turn off some wine connoisseurs. To market in our LCBO stores, margins are severely diminished with the LCBO collecting a 45% fee. The product market in general is also highly saturated, with products from beers to spirits to ciders all crowding the shelves. While we expect consumers to feel this oversaturation effect, we see our unique formulation of Frosé as an advantage in this respect. Finally, alcohol trends can be unpredictable, and we could either see Frosé and other frozen alcoholic beverages become a fad or see the same or increased presence in years down the line. Popularity comes and goes just as fast as those beloved summer days.
In early 2022, our team conducted primary research surveying over 500 individuals. Our respondents placed emphasis on convenience and unique flavor when purchasing ready-to-drink cocktails in coolers. 68% of our female respondents between the ages of 19 and 24, and 58% of our female respondents between the ages of 45 and 54 said that they would be interested in purchasing a convenient, single-serve frozen wine cocktail. 77% of our respondents said that they drink ready-to-drink cocktails in coolers with their friends, and 86% of our respondents put some degree of emphasis on purchasing alcoholic beverages from local companies.
Based on our research, we've identified 2 target markets for Frosé, the It Girls and the Sophisticated Sippers. It Girls are younger women learning to drink wine. These are women aged 19 to 24 whose beverage of choice is coolers. Meet Kristen. Kristen is in her 4th year at the University of Toronto and thrives on the fast-paced city life. With her girlfriends, she likes to check out the restaurants and events downtown, vacation at her parents' cottage in the Muskokas, and watch The Bachelor every Monday night. Kristen loves feeling classy and wants to enjoy the finer things of life. Sophisticated sippers are middle-aged wine lovers who are willing to try a spin on a summer wine. For these women, aged 45 to 54, with an income of $80,000 to $100,000, Frosé offers a different way for them to enjoy their favorite alcoholic beverage. A classic example of a sophisticated sipper is Caroline. Caroline lives in Oakville, Ontario, with her husband Tom and 2 teenage daughters. She works for the Hospital Foundation and loves her job, even with the stress of meeting lofty targets. Caroline is a natural host and frequently invites the neighborhood moms over for a drink after work.
We believe the primary strategy of Frosé is to provide Ontario consumers with a unique, fresh take on wine consumption, simultaneously allowing Weingard Estates to expand on its current market offerings. While It Girls are reaching for coolers, sophisticated sippers are frequently consuming wine. Weingard Estates can aspire for Frosé to become the preferred middle ground option for these 2 distinct consumption habits.
Additionally, Frosé provides benefit to not only Weingard Estates, but other producers in the Niagara region. For Weingard, Frosé provides a usage for low-quality vintages in a bad year. Adding in the fruit component cuts the bitterness of the wine and improves the overall taste to consumers. The novel frozen wine concept behind Frosé also appeals to an additional group of women and young people who have previously strayed away from wine-based beverages. And finally, wine consumption peaks in popularity around the holidays and during the winter months. Frosé, a summer-oriented frozen wine beverage, can help brands like Weingard Estates remain at the forefronts of consumers' minds all year round. For other producers, the addition of fruit opens up a new sales channel for Ontario berry producers. And finally, COVID restrictions have negatively impacted the tourist areas of Niagara. The Niagara region offers picturesque vineyards, exceptional restaurants, vibrant cities, and the iconic Niagara Falls. Our launch strategy focuses on marketing not only the product, but the winery experience to bring consumers back to this beloved area. I'm going to pass it over to Carmen to demonstrate how Frosé will enter the market.
Making summer freeze in time is the main goal of Weingard Estates when you take a refreshing sip of the delectable Frosé. Weingard Estates is a well-established winery within the region of Niagara, and we are ready to launch to you Frosé, a product that is positioned to reflect locality, luxury, and convenience for all consumers. Looking into our first year on the market, we will find Frosé expanding just at the Weingard Estates. It will help strengthen the local economy and continue to expand at the winery. Attending local events, such as festivals and farmers markets, will help spread our name and spread word of mouth between customers, both potential and repeat. Additionally, Frosé will be sold online for convenient at-home delivery. Moving into year 2 on the market, we will find Frosé expanding within the entire region of Niagara. It will broaden its horizons to include the trendy cottage population of Muskoka, the perennially popular wine region of Prince Edward County, as well as the shoreline beaches along the Great Lakes. Finally, looking into year 3 on the market, we will find Frosé expanding within the entire province of Ontario, seeking additional locations both demographically and culturally similar to pre-existing markets. Our goals from year 1 and year 2 will stay consistent within our strategies. And now, let's discuss the Frosé promotional plan. A headline wine strives to reach our target audience through various social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as the Weingard Estates website. Announcements, tantalizing news, offers, featured events, and photos will be a must. With the use of paid promotions, we will also target our individual audience segment and amplify our brand. Drinking Together outlines developing reputable relationships with stakeholders to build quality partnerships. On TikTok, we will partner with Sid Sips, a social media influencer with 40,000 followers. Sid Sips shares her life, one glass at a time. Additionally, we will also partner with Vivian Rosillo, a Toronto wine influencer. Vivian has a strong presence with over 22,000 followers. With the use of subscription boxes, we will reach even more consumers. Wine Club Canada sends their subscribers a monthly curated assortment of wines, and Frosé will be featured every year in one of the summer subscription boxes.
Moving on to our third step of Frosé's promotional plan. Pouring Out the Print reaches our target market through traditional print platforms. Canadian Living is a #1 platform for beauty, health, lifestyle, and entertainment. Frosé will have a one-page ad in 4 editions of this magazine, as well as be featured on their website. As Canada's largest women's brand, Chatelaine features recipes, lifestyle tips, and fresh perspectives. Frosé will have a one-page ad in the May, June, July, and August publications, as well as be featured on their website. Wine Country Ontario highlights premier wineries located across the province. Weingard Estates, as well as Frosé, can be found in this yearly publication. Additionally, Frosé will be featured in the LCBO Food and Drink Guide 3 to the 5 times it is published yearly. Targeting sophisticated sippers, the LCBO Food and Drink Guide is a widely read guide reaching thousands. Harvesting Connections aims to target our wine connoisseurs. We plan to introduce our very own wine truck, which can be found at beaches, events, and festivals. These locations, both within popular winery regions and out, will create brand awareness for Weingard Estates as well as Frosé. Winefest Toronto, Hamilton's Food and Drink Fest, and farmers markets are the perfect place to experience Frosé. Frosé branded merchandise, such as environmentally friendly metal straws, can be used as promotional product for Frosé, solidifying our commitment to being eco-friendly. As well, throughout the summer months, sampling will be available at various events. There is no better proof that Frosé is the drink for you than to take a sip of it yourself. The Weingard Estates President's Club is perfect for the target market of Frosé, as lovers of the finer things can appreciate this elite rewards group. Special offers will be made available periodically throughout the year by email before peak times such as the May Long Weekend, Canada Day, and Labor Day. Offers such as winery dinners and special tasting events will also be made available to these members. Leading into the summer months, point of purchase material as well as coupons will be utilized throughout the LCBO, as research has shown that our target market is looking for novel and unique things to try at the LCBO. Friends of Frosé is our Giving Back initiative, where 2% of annual profits will be donated. The Raspberry Frosé supports the Southridge Shelter, a local homeless shelter, ensuring that only our product is frozen this winter. The Blueberry Frosé supports Water First, an initiative that fights the water crisis facing many Indigenous communities across Canada. The Strawberry Frosé supports Mothers Against Drunk Driving, an initiative that fights impaired driving and supports victims of this violent crime. Now on to Patrick for the financials.
Thanks, Vera. Now, in addition to proving that Frosé will become the summer beverage of choice for our target demographic, we'll also show how it's a financially profitable addition to Weingard Estates' product portfolio. Let's look at price. Frosé is competitively priced at $3.95 Canadian or $3.13 US. The multi-packs will be sold for $11.50 Canadian or $9.13 US. After a cost of goods sold of $1.34 per package, this will result in a gross margin of 65% for products sold directly to consumers. Entering the LCBO stores requires a 45% listing fee, making the margin for Frosé approximately 20% at these locations. While our margin is significantly diminished at LCBO stores, Ontario regulation requires pricing to remain consistent across all sales channels. Let's turn to our financial statements. In year 1, Frosé is projected to have sales of $422,000, which, after costs of goods sold, will result in a gross margin of $277,000. We expect this strong result in the first year of our plan because of our business strategy, which seeks to expand Weingard Estates' existing production facility rather than building a new one. In year 2, sales will total $3.38 million for a gross margin of $2.2 million, and in year 3, sales will total just over $15 million for a gross margin of $9.87 million. In year 1, a net loss of $175,000 will occur, but by year 2, a profit margin of 11% will be generated. This margin will be held consistent in year 3 for a profit margin of 10%. Our marketing budget has also been broken down to reflect the various components of the Frosé promotional plan. In year 1, 33% of our budget is dedicated to our powerful marketing team, 28% to our Harvesting Connection events, and 39% to targeted print, social media, and partnership promotions. Marketing expenses as a percentage of sales are 62% in year 1, 15% in year 2, and 6% in year 3. Additionally, to analyze the strength and future performance of Frosé, a sensitivity analysis has been conducted. This analysis highlights the potential total 3-year profit of Frosé and shows that even if sales decline by 10% and the cost to produce Frosé increased by 10%, our product would remain profitable. This analysis highlights the resiliency of the Frosé brand and the strength that a potential investment in Frosé by Weingart Estates can offer. Now over to Taylor for monitoring and measuring.
Fun, fresh, fruity, and fantastic. Frosé is sure to be a hit with all of these promotions, but how will we really know whether Frosé is a finalist or a flop? To align with Frosé's goals, our team must stay on top of metrics related to brand recognition, event interaction, and winery visits to ensure we are seeing a consistent return on our significant investment in marketing strategy. It's also crucial for our team to remember that at the end of the day, a happy customer is a repeat customer. Consistent visits to our online store will ensure that our brand is hitting the mark in both the mind of our consumer and to the bottom line. We have specific targets in mind for online sales. Should we exceed these targets, it's important that our team continue to push the online sale of Frosé as we enter LCBO stores with incentives such as our reusable metal straw and other branded merchandise. Should our online sales fall short, our team will take a step back to reassess the promotions available to our consumers and find ways to redirect them to our website with similar incentive. To align with our benefit to producer, new and repeat winery visits must be monitored. These targets aren't tied to sales, but rather to visits to Weingart Estates itself, where we can promote our own product, but also other wineries, restaurants, and businesses that surround and support us. Should we see increased tourism to Weingart Estates, our team will continue to push promotions with the Weingart President's Club and even expand these promotions to include other wineries in the area, rewarding our customer and supporting our neighbor. Should we see continued tourism struggles to the Niagara region, our team will invest in promotional campaigns, including giveaways, wine tastings, and wine tours.
A headline wine like Frosé is sure to catch your attention online, but how are we sure it's sticking in the minds of our consumers? Brand recognition is a vital part of building the Frosé experience, and our team expects to capture this with yearly online surveys. From these surveys, we expect to receive a 15% brand recognition result. If this can be met, we need to reward the hard work of our influencers by increasing paid sponsor posts and continuing to share Frosé on a paid and gift basis. If this cannot be met, we'll need to reassess each of our influencers for reach and impact to make sure they're hitting the mark with our It Girls and Sophisticated Sippers demographics. Now, we've been talking a lot about the reach of Frosé online and at the winery, but it's also important to look at how we're interacting with consumers as we're out harvesting connections. At our wine truck, we want to interact with 25% of event attendees. If this can be met, it's worthwhile to further invest in events by purchasing a more premium location or expanding our booth. If this cannot be met, however, it is important to remember that events are very expensive, and we will need to reassess events in each region to make sure we're going to the right ones. These goals are designed to fit with our strong marketing plan to ensure that Weingart Estates is receiving an adequate return on marketing investment as a reward for diversifying with Frosé.
Frosé is well positioned to take advantage of the growing popularity of ready-to-drink cocktails and the rapidly expanding Ontario wine and grape industry. You can expect Frosé to be a reliable sidekick when reuniting with friends and family this summer. We are confident that Frosé will provide the unique new twist on wine consumption that Ontario consumers are seeking, as well as being a profitable diversification opportunity for Weingart Estates. Now is your opportunity to make summer freeze in time.
We can take any questions when you guys are ready.
I'll start.
Sure.
I noticed that your target customers, you have 2 sets, and one is age 19 to 24, and one is 24 to starts 45 to 54, right? So what happens with those between 24 and 45? Why did you choose to avoid that, or are you going to reach them in some other way? They're not on your target customer list.
Sure. I'm going to pass that question to Taylor.
Thank you for your thank you for your question. Based on our primary research, it was with outstanding respondents that it was the 19 to 24-year-olds and the 45 to 54-year-olds that were willing to try our product. So to choose two markets to target, we chose the It Girls and Sophisticated Sippers, but we truly see the consumption of frosé as more of a lifestyle habit. So if you're an individual that does not fall in those age categories but is still interested, you'll most likely be exposed to the same marketing materials and be attending the same events, and you'll have equal exposure to frosé.
As a follow-up to that, those are two very different audiences. I think you made the comment of developing their palate and having an established palate. I didn't see a lot of message differentiation and tactical differentiation in terms of how you're going to get those folks who don't really know anything about wine versus your sophisticated sippers. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So our sophisticated sippers we're targeting with those print ads because that's the majority of readers of Canadian Living and Chatelaine are in that age demographic. And then looking towards our headline wine and drinking together promotions, that's where we're using influencers, we're using TikTok, we're using Instagram to reach those primary it girl consumers. And for both of them, it's about building that lifestyle around frosé. It's about how they want to come to the winery to experience that feeling and really leaning into that it girl feeling for those people developing their wine taste. But we also have that fun little fruit component that it's a little bit of a cheap wine. So you're not feeling like you're an old person drinking wine. You still have that fun, cooler aspect. So for our it girls, we see it as a pathway, not necessarily a jumping right in.
I have a question on the LCBO fee. That 45% hit's a tough hit right out of the bag. How is your marketing investment there different? In other words, what percentage is going to that compared to your retail or your events and other channels there? Are you pushing or changing the percent of marketing that goes to that, seeing that you have a 45% hit up front on your margin?
Sure, I'll pass that one to Patrick.
Thanks, and that's a great question. So just as a quick overview, in Ontario, we have a state-run monopoly, which is the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. And so if we want to sell through retail to consumers, we have to do it through the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. And so the reason that we're doing that is because it is a widely used service. It is very big exposure to the large percentage of our target demographics, and it hits every corner of the province. And so going throughout the stages of our marketing plan, we're going to expect more sales to be coming from the LCBO, but the vast majority of our promotions really are gearing towards getting people to buy it either online directly from us or from our winery. The idea would be that we have that President's Club that drives people to the winery. We have those Harvesting Connections events where we're trying to build that lifestyle image that encourages you to come to the winery. So we really see the LCBO as a first consumption opportunity, and then really we'll focus our promotions on ensuring that once you've fallen in love with frosé because you've seen it at the LCBO, you're going to be purchasing directly from us, and we'll have that higher 65% margin.
Are there, I mean, with the frozen treat, right, aspect of this thing, are there storage issues or any return issues that you have to deal with? Is WineGuard able to handle all of the freezing that has to happen, or does that all happen on site at the LCBO?
It's
location?
formulated, so you buy it as a liquid, take it home and put it in the freezer there. And then because it's in that plastic squishy pouch, you can blend it all around, and then you can either pour it into a glass or use a straw. So we don't have that cooler cost up front to be able to go to the to sell it that way at the LCBO, and we can position it a little bit better within the actual store.
So follow-up to that then would be, if we really are positioning it heavily in the summer, is there a place where you feel like there would be, LCBO would be like, yeah, we got this leftover stuff, it's not summertime anymore, or is there an expectation then that fall would kind of then drain out the supply and there would be no returns?
So that's a great question. And so our expectation is that the vast majority of sales will occur in the LCBO during the summer months. And then we expect other WineGuard Estates products to be listed in the LCBO all year round. But if folks want to buy frosé in those off seasons, in those winter months, again, they're going to be redirected to our online store, to our winery. So it's another sales point. So we expect as Labor Day and Canadian Thanksgiving, which is in the middle of October, pass, that the frosé will be phased out of the LCBO just in time to bring it back in around the May long weekend.
So as you talk about selling at the actual winery and online, what do you see as the break in percentages between where sales will come from, whether they're in person or online?
So that's a great question. So we expect in-person sales to be predominant in the first year because our consumers will mostly be more local or tourists to the Niagara region. And then as we go throughout the second and third year of our promotional plan, we will see increased online sales because many of our consumers will have found us at an event at a beach in a different area, and then will be purchasing online from us. And as an established winery, we already have a robust delivery system, and we're just adding Frosé into that online delivery system. So we expect by year 3 that about 15 to 20% of our sales will be at the winery, a bit more than that online, and the remaining at LCBO locations.
A follow-up to that, since you're an established winery, these two different audiences you're talking about, are they currently active customers of your winery? Are they current part of the target audience, or are they new for this Frosé product?
The It Girls are a newer demographic, but our sophisticated sippers are already wine lovers, so they're purchasing their whites and reds at Easter from the LCBO where Weingart is already placed.
Okay, I have a follow-up to the follow-up, and I apologize. Knowing that your sophisticated It Girls, I think is what they are, is your target that you're going at with social media, and you're using the Weingard social channels. Explain to me how that's going to get to them if they're not aware of Weingard, they're not already engaged as part of audience members, but that's going to be your main push to them is through social and your influencers.
So for Vivian Rosillo and Sid Sips, they're both very targeted influencers that we've chosen based on their following because it's a quality over quantity. And they are not only reaching wine It Girls, they do a lot of other alcohol sales work in that respect. So we're having them to reach a group of women who already know they want to explore in that market. And we already know that those are the It Girls that are following them, especially on platforms like TikTok.
And just building on that answer that Corinne had there, we expect the Frosé social media channels to be slightly distinct from the Weingart Estates social media channels. A lot of brands would have multiple channels for different products, and so that would be an expectation that we would occasionally promote Frosé on the Weingart Estates main channel, but we would have a distinct brand image for Frosé that will really be targeted towards those younger demographics.
Because of the targeting of the messaging, right? This is a summertime treat, right? So is there going to be, how do you address the fade of brand awareness that would happen then in the off months? Is that something that would need some sort of a ramping back up then? Is that accounted for in your plan?
Absolutely. We account for that in our plan. We're looking at having social media promotions throughout the winter, reminding people of how they love the summer days, how they want to be at the cottage with friends, and really kind of keeping that brand awareness going. But then also leading into this season, that's when we really expect that marketing to kick in. So we're hoping to market a couple of weeks or even a month before folks are starting to go outside and enjoy these more frozen drinks, so that it'll be fresh in the consumer's mind when they're ready to make that purchase. They're going to the cottage for the long weekend, and they know that Frosé is the drink for them.
A specific example of how you could see this working in the real world is Ontario weather is a little bit like a roller coaster. So you have the super, super warm day in March. Get on the socials, remind people, hey, I know you're sitting out on your deck today. It's the first time, probably the only time you're going to do it this month. But when May comes around, when you want to, and you really want a Frosé, it's going to be in the LCBO.
For the sophisticated group, again, you seem to be relying pretty heavily on print for that group. Is there any type of specific call to action that you have in those print units?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, so to build on that, it's not just the print that's targeting our sophisticated sippers. We're also looking at those festivals and Harvesting Connection events. But yes, we will be directing them to go to visit the winery and to visit our social media channels and the website, because that's where we really want to drive the sales, and that's where we really want folks to be purchasing from, so we get that higher margin. So depending on the time of year, the call to action would either be to go online and purchase directly from us, or it's a beautiful time of year, come visit us at the winery, get this experience, purchase Frosé, as well as our additional other wine products.
No introduction like of QR codes or couponing, though, or anything else through those print elements?
Not through the print elements. We do have coupons built in at the LCBO, going from that going from the single pack to the multi pack with a slight discount. But because we can't offer huge discounts because of liquor labeling laws, we're kind of restricted in how broadly we can offer coupons.